My brother!
Alright, so I'm...
Do you know the way?
Do you know the way?
Well, I know the way after seeing this deck. So I'm here with Wyatt Morales, who made it first place in Swiss at the Villain Gaming Regional. Everybody likes to put the quotations.
Bodega.
Yes, the Bodega Regional. And so, yeah, you went 6-0-1. You drew on 1. It was the second to last.
Yep.
So, you were playing.
I was playing Shaddoll, Dogmatika, Invoked.
Right. There was a lot of pieces there. So I wanted to make sure I didn't get that wrong. All right. So, first, you played Zoo Dogmatika, then Drytron, then Dino, then Eldritch, then VWs, then VWs again, and then Drytrons again.
Yep.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, love it.
So, what do we got going on here?
A bunch of shit.
Yeah, probably.
a pile.
But somehow it worked. Because you were playing like a madman.
So I'll go in order of relevance, how important I think the cards are. So I obviously played the 1 Ecclesia, the 3 Nadir, and I played the 2 Punishment.
Okay. No Fleur-de-Lis.
No Fleur-de-Lis. It's a card that I didn't see myself needing all too often. She's nice because she herself is a level 4 spellcaster, so it goes into a card that I actually played in the extra deck pretty well. You only need 1 because you can recur it with the graveyard from Servant, and 2 punishments because you don't want to be locked out of the extra deck for too long, because you're going to need to make those cards in order to win the game.
Right. Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah. Moving on to the next, I played 3 Alistair.
Now, tell me about this man, because this is what's particularly strange.
Normal summon Guy Search thing. It's probably one of the best normal summons. Nah, it definitely is one of the best normal summons I have in the deck. It helps me search out my invocations, because the one thing Shaddoll's lack is a searchable fusion spell, and this is a searchable fusion spell that recurs itself, which is very nice. Not only that, but you can set up a negate with obviously the Mechaba, because you're crazy if you're playing Alistair with no Mechaba. And this is just great droll bait when you have Gamma. If not, it's also a good card to stop something like Bell from stopping your invocations, because they can't negate activations. They also can't respond to your summons, so sometimes when you're faced with floodgates, like I was against Eldritch, if you have this out and you summon an app clone, they can't respond to you negating that floodgate, because floodgates suck.
Oh, and of course, Shadows and Dogmatika don't really use their normal summon. So
No.
he's a good normal summon choice.
Yeah. That's why he's best normal summon in deck.
Gucci.
And then, obviously, on to the meat and potatoes.
Oh, here we go.
I played 2 Wendy, 2 Squamata, 1 Beast, 1 Foil Dragon, 1 Hedgehog, and 1 Aerial. I might have played 2 Aerial. I thought about it for a little bit.
I'm actually surprised you played 2 Wendy.
Yeah, I liked Wendy because I liked having board presence. And Wendy does lead to a decent amount of board presence. The things you're going to end on most of the time are like Mechaba with a gravity controller and Squamata, or the trap card set. 3 fusion, obviously, you have to. The reason the deck is 41, because I could not bring myself to cut my El Shaddoll fusion, because that card, special feelings for. I like that card. It's nice to make a quick effect fusion that you can either kill your opponent with, or just in case you need to dodge something. I played the 1 Shaddoll Incarnation. I actually used this a lot more than I expected myself to use it.
Well, it is a Monster Reborn after all.
Yeah, I revived Construct a lot, and I barely used its Banish to flip up effect. I actually don't think I used it at all the entire time I played the tournament.
I also remember you used this a few times to bring back Winda.
Yes,
which is pretty strong.
This bringing back Windows is really strong in response to a card effect being activated. And then the GOAT, the best card in the deck, the only reason I'm even playing the deck, Shaddoll Schism.
Question, how many times did this actually get Cosmic Cycloned or just popped or whatever?
This got Cosmic Cycloned 3 times. In those games where they Cosmic Cycloned, I still won because Shaddoll Fusion and Invocation are a piece of shit. And when they focus on this, they're not focused on anything else up here. Because they're worried this card is going to fuck them. It does. Most of the time, this card does actually just fuck people. You play this card and if they don't know what this card does, then when you make the fusion in response to something to get rid of or to make a window, they usually just lose.
So I'm gonna guess you think that 2 would be a little much, should be a little unnecessary.
2 is a bit unnecessary because you're not too worried when this card leaves the board. If it gets Lightning Storm, Twin Twisted, you don't really care because you're going to grab it back when you link summon off your fusion monsters or if they die. If you get Cosmic Cyclone, that kind of sucks, but the other cards in the deck should make up for it being lost. If it didn't, then I probably wouldn't be in the first spot.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to the utility cards. 3 Super Poly. This is my Outer Dragoons in case I saw it. I never did.
Yeah.
Never had to worry about it, but I did actually Super Poly VFD a lot. I Super Poly'd 2 Eldritches, the monster, not the deck, and took this out whenever I saw Virtual World because I can't Super Poly anything. Oh, no, that's a lie. I Super Poly'd 1 time into Ragin because I had Alistair out and they had a win.
Right.
But Super Poly is great. You have to play 3 if you're playing this deck. And then hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Droll, and the Gamma. Going into this event, I expected to see a lot more Subterra Guru because it won a remote duel. So I expected to see it a lot more than combo, which was the exact opposite. I saw a lot more combo than I saw any back row deck.
Right.
This card came in so clutch. This is the most used hand trap of the day. I used Gamma a few times to stop a Droll. I used Ash twice that I can remember. But Droll, every single match I played, I used. Even if it didn't matter, like Virtual World, I still ended up using it. Droll was the MVP.
Gotcha.
And then we'll move on to the extra.
Sure.
I played 3 Construct.
Obviously.
The Vest Bay. the card that actually sets up a lot of your plays during your opponent's turn and your turn. Never play less than 3. 2 App Cologne, because she's your Schism Searcher and sometimes your, what's it called? Floodgate Stopper. Sometimes not even Floodgate Stopper. Sometimes she does come out and just negate a card that you don't want to deal with later on. Like slapping this onto a board and targeting a VFD on your opponent's turn is pretty nice. If they don't respond, then their VFD's turned off forever. Most of the time on their turn, it doesn't matter because they'll probably get rid of it themselves. But it's just nice to know that you have a card that can come out and negate any card on board and keep it negated. And then when she leaves, search for any Shaddoll card, pitch any Shaddoll card. You can make board presence by searching Windy and pitching her. You can grab Aerial, pitch, and banish 3. It's just the one of the best Shaddoll cards ever printed, I want to say, other than, you know, Schism.
And it's made even more powerful because of Nadir Servant.
Yes, Nadir Servant sending this to search Ecclesia. Oh. Obviously, the card that makes me win against Drytron. My Drytron matches, drop it, I win. That's it.
Damn.
In response to their effect, drop this, I win. They don't have a response. They don't have cards in their main deck that I played against that they were able to out this with, so they usually just saw this scoop to win in the game 2, or game 3 even. Game 1 against my last match, drop 2 of these. Dude just went, that's disgusting and scoopy. The 2 Mechaba, because 2 is just the right number of Mechaba to play. 3 is a little too much. You'll never see it.
Now, what I thought was particularly interesting watching you was that you didn't really bring out Mechaba that much. And I remember you told me that you actually used Invocation more to just fuse into Shaddoll monsters than even make Invoked monsters.
Yes. This deck is primarily focused on the Shaddolls because that's my favorite part of the deck. Not only that, but most of the time you don't really need Mechaba. What you need is Schism or a way to get the Schism. If you make a Mechaba, sure, cool, that's a free negate. But sometimes I would make Mechaba off Invocation while setting up the Shaddoll plays, and then on my opponent's turn, if they didn't use anything that my Mechaba could negate, I'll just banish them out to make a construct and set my plays up to either OTK them next turn or just lock them out from playing. It's just Mechaba's here because he's here. He's good to play with Alistair because he is a free negate at the end of the day. This was here because it's Purgatrio. He'll punch you real hard in the face. Boonga boonga.
Just in case.
Strong. The 1 Raging because if I get drolled, that's a good option to go into.
Okay.
It's
Did you ever see him?
Yes, I actually made him twice. I made him once against Virtual World and I made him once against Dino. I got drolled against Dino, made Raging. He normal summoned Oviraptor, went to use his effect. I booked him. He didn't have a miscellaneous, and he had no response afterwards, so he just passed, and I killed him next turn.
Okay.
Against Virtual World, almost same thing. I got drolled. I made Raging, set, I think, 3 and passed, and all he did was normal summon monsters, so I knew he didn't have any spells to use with. I figured it was a safe time to book, so I did. I booked and I went because of it. Raging came in really clutch. I liked him a lot. The Natis, because sometimes punishment 2 cards is really nice. Sometimes Nadir Servanting 1 card out's nice. If I were to run in any Maximus, which I didn't, then this is another good card to send along with something like, I don't know, any of my Shaddolls, because if they Maximus and I send a Shaddoll, they'll be very sad. The Gravity Controller, every single game I made this card, people would pick it up, read it, put it back down, and then swing into it, and then get punished because they didn't actually read the card. They just wanted to look at its art, I guess.
Wow.
Gravity Controller was a card I made every game. Every game I made it, people would read it, but not very well.
Damn.
And then a very important extra deck card. So I did not play Almirage, and I did not play Secure Gardena. It was 2 spots in the extra deck I felt could have been useful for more utility cards, such as Natis.
I see.
And this is literally a 2-summon Mechaba. Not that it really matters. Nibiru never saw the light of day in this deck. As in, they never Nibiru'd me. And not only that, but this works well in conjunction with Ecclesia. It's a level 4 spellcaster you can send to this. If you have her out already, you can send her, make this, and then Nadir Servant it back if you have a Nadir Servant in hand.
Right.
She was a very useful card. Never used her effect. People read it for its effect, and I said it doesn't matter. You need to make this into a Mechaba.
Okay.
Or the spiciest thing is normal summoning, grabbing invocation. Make this, or obviously normal summon Alistair, grabbing invocation. Make this with Alistair, and then Shaddoll fusioning this and a Shaddoll in your hand, and then invocationing that into a Mechaba. That is disgusting. And then the Predator Plant Verte Anaconda. I used this one time, and the one time I used it, the dude was afraid that I had a Dragoon, so he just popped it right away, and then got punished because he thought I had Dragoon.
You used Predator Plant Verte Anaconda for something other than Dragoon? You mad lad!
One time I got destroyed because of it. He was like, I don't really want to deal with a Dragoon. I'll pop it. And I'm like, okay, I was just making it to clear space, but you cleared more space for me, so thanks. But that's the extra deck. It's tight. I probably wouldn't change anything about it unless my boy gets the hammer. If Alistair gets the hammer, or anything related to Alistair gets the hammer, I'm going to be very sad, and I'm going to have to change the deck up a little bit, but it won't change too much. I'll move on to the side. 3 Boo. Never... I think I played it twice, and the 2 times I played it, it didn't really impact the game state too much. I ended up dropping it. They continued on the combo. I used it for a light for a Shaddoll to make a construct. That's about it. I took it out whenever I fought Virtual World because Droll does nothing. Or sorry, I put this in. I took Droll out when I fought Virtual World because this does nothing against Virtual World, really. You can time it right, I guess, if you're smart, but I'm not, so... Cycle Reader.
For the Drytrons?
For the Drytrons, but I never saw it against Drytrons.
Oh.
I only saw this against Eldritch, and it won me a game because I saw it against Eldritch.
Oh yeah, I remember there was one game where you banished the Eldritches and the dude just scooped.
Yep. Chain Cycle Reader to your Sanguine, and he only had Eldritches left in the grave. I was like, target Eldritches, and he said, okay, I'll scoop up. 2 Lancia. I do a lot of banishing myself, so... 3 felt a bit much. 2 felt just right. If I need it, I need it. These were the only cards I sided in all day, swapping back and forth between the main. The other cards in my side deck might as well not even be there. I never used them.
Wow.
I expected to see back row. Never saw back row. Saw combo. Eldritch was the only back row that I saw, and I handled that really without back row removal. I sided it in. Didn't see it. Still won. The rest of my side deck cards that don't really matter. 3 Lightning Storms, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Again, in case I run in the back row. I did not want to deal with back row, and this says fuck back row. This card also says fuck back row, but it also says fuck Eldritch really hard.
So yeah, because of the remote duel, you were expecting a lot more Guru.
Yes, I was expecting a lot of Guru, but I didn't see any Guru. I saw only combo, and I didn't use these cards at all, really. I used this one time against... Zoo Dogmatika, and the Lightning Storm actually ended up hurting me because the dude dimensional buried, so I just had to sit on Ecclesia and pass.
Oof.
But yep, this is what I got first with. Strong list. I probably wouldn't change it unless something in the ban list said I had to, which there's a strong possibility. Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, I got a couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
Number 1.
Fire them off.
Up until the day of the regional, you had been telling me that you were going to play Dragon Link. You were steadfast going to play Dragon Link, and then suddenly you whipped out this piece of work. I was very surprised. Why did you suddenly decide to choose Shaddolls?
Well, so I was intent on playing Dragon Link because I wanted to. I love Dragon Link so much. It's one of the decks that I played during, obviously, the Dragon Link combo format. But I ordered Chamber Dragon Maids, and they didn't show up.
Oh.
So I've been playing this deck for a little bit, for about a month since you played it.
Oh, yeah. Because I was a big fan of it, yeah.
Yep, and ever since I was like, man, I really like this deck. I'm going to test it. So I test played, and I ended up really falling in love with the deck. So when the Chambers didn't show up, I was like, all right, I'll just play my back burner deck. And I'm glad I did. I did a lot better with this than I would with Dragon Link, if I'm going to
You were in the zone, man. It was really surprising. I remember you even said there were other people who played Shaddolls who were walking up to you and be like, how are you doing so good? And you're like, I don't know, man.
I had no answers for him. Like, play better.
Oh, burn. So, speaking of the deck doing well for you, with the ban list coming up as of the time of this video, how do you see Shaddolls doing in the future with a lot of people predicting a lot of the same things getting hit? And honestly, like Shaddolls, Invoked, Dogmatika don't seem to be on the chopping block as far as people can predict.
If the other meta decks do get hit, and this doesn't get touched, I see this becoming a lot more popular, and adjustments will have to be made because the mirror match gets long and disgusting. And, man, I really don't want to see this against me. I like playing it because it was so nice going into this event because no one was expecting it. No one was ready for it. Everybody in their side deck was like, man, I had 2 people tell me, like, I have nothing for this deck. And I was like, good. But if you see this a lot more, people will be able to side deck against it a lot more, and people will be able to play against it a lot better. It'll be rougher for me. So
Though, wouldn't you say that the deck is actually surprisingly flexible?
It is.
So if anything, it might do pretty well.
This is true. If I play good, then it should be fine.
So, with that said, would you like to make any shout-outs? Especially, I know so many people were asking you about your beautiful mat. Where did you get this mat?
So, Wolfgrounds designed the art for the mat. I cannot remember the company that foiled it. I'm sorry. But Wolfgrounds definitely did the art. I'm sure you can find foiling on Facebook anywhere. That's where I found it. The other shout-outs I'd have to do is I have to do shout-outs to Deal Me In Games in Boytown.
Hell yeah.
It's my card shop. If it wasn't for these guys, then I 110% would not. I'd be Curtis level. So I definitely thank them.
That's an
in
joke and a half.
I thank them very much for making me a good player because without them and their critical reviews on my deck and critical reviews on my plays, I would not take any of it to heart, and I would think I'm the best by being the worst.
Oof.
So these guys are the best to me. So shout outs to them too, because I love them. And shout outs to Tyler too for setting up this regional, because without it, I wouldn't have got first.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Tyler. All right. Thank you so much for letting me do this deck profile.
Well, thanks for doing one.
Yeah. And I wish you the best in the future, my dude.
Me too.
Hell yeah.